Welcome again to the 50th anniversary of the Helsinki Comic Festival, an event in which Spain is the guest country. First at all, I want to thank to the help and support provided by the Finnish Comic Society, the Spanish Embassy in Finland, and the Foundation for the Promotion and Study of Narrative in IMAS. Thanks to the support and dedication of all the people involved, it has been possible to make this a reality. Today we meet with Blanca Vázquez. I think you are the more younger artist that I have invited to this event.
Maybe.
Probably. But there are the age is between your age, 20 something to 50 something. Well, there are, I think, someone more older that is the president of the foundation, but his role is different because he's the president of the foundation.
Yes.
He's an editor, a journalist, a writer. Is too many things. But if you only talk about a comic book artist or illustrator or artist alone, I think you are the more younger, and the more older is 50. I think 52.
Okay.
You born in Cáceres, in Guadalupe, Cáceres.
Yes.
And I read exactly the thing you sent me because it's really nice. You put author with always a pencil in hand, writing down ideas and drawing since she knew how to handle the rudiment of the discipline. Really nice. You studied in Madrid and ended graduating and illustrating in Liège, in Belgium. Sent to a stay at Erasmus, which was later extended more than the
Yes.
film. I know the feeling, trust me. I know what happened when you stay more time that you believe in one place.
Yes. You will never leave the place if you
Exactly.
don't
That's the
want.
thing. That is the reason you are in Spain, I am in Finland. For
Understand.
one Erasmus exchange student.
Ah, okay.
Uh, you begin to publish in 2019. You published Sombra, the winning word of the Opera Prime constant in the French magazine. You begin to work in the main league in France.
Yes, because it was a concourse.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yes.
the contest.
And
Yes,
all people in my class will participate. So me too. Like, why not?
yes,
And when I sent the book, but it was a really little book, only 12 pages. It was choose like the winner, so it was published in
yes.
the French
Hors,
magazine and
yes,
Spanish too because it's the same one in the two countries. Fuera de
yes,
margen.
offside the margin. Yes. No, but it's really nice because it's uh, yeah, in an art meeting I talked with one comic book and illustrator, Alicia Warhola, and she explained that actually she's working in a video games and like a concept artist because when she stayed in the university, the university offered the possibility to work in a company that a video game company, and she made the training inside this company. And when she finished, someone in the company say, "Hey, you are really good, and we would like that you stay here." She need to finish her degree, and when she finished, he returned to the company.
Ah, yes.
It's really nice when you have the opportunity, when you are inside one university or something, to begin to work, because if you want to be an author, there are something you need to understand fast. You work for someone.
Hmm.
You, sometimes you draw, or in my case, I write something from me. But normally you do something from someone, from some book, some editorial, some newspaper, some magazine, some whatever, or some event. And it's good when you have the opportunity to begin to work early, uh, especially if in that case, if you like to be a comic book artist in
Hmm.
the French market, because it's in Europe is the more. bigger and strong market.
Yes, I agree.
No, that's the thing. A really it's a good opportunity, and it's good to begin to work like in the main league. It's good to begin to work in the first league, but if you have the opportunity to begin to work in the first league, work inside the French market, in my point of view, is the main league in Europe. It's really nice, and if you win in the contest, it's much better. But for me, it's not. And after that, 1 year later, in February 2020, you publish Juntas en esto. This is the reason now you and me are talking about. This is something I am very proud, mm, that in my country, some editorial and some author make something like that. Because, and I am very grateful that you accept the invitation, because I live in a country for the last 2 decades where I know that in every place there are different between men and women. But here in Finland, the difference are not so huge that in Spain. Especially when the women want to do something, they don't. For example, the maternity leave. Here in Finland, anyone say anything if one woman want to stay 1 year with the child, because the society understand that this year is so important from the baby.
Yes,
You want to stay more, you need to talk with your company, and probably you receive less money. But anyone say anything, is the woman has this right to choose the option stay 1 year with the new baby. And in Spain, actually, continue with 4 months. Sometimes you have 5, but normally it's 4 months. Fortunately, now there are more fathers that take the paternity leave, that is, I think, 2 months and a half, like something like here too. But there are differences, and there are topics. I read something when you and now I need to explain something, but I want to continue with my idea.
okay.
This project is you put on the table one of this topic that today many societies prefer to keep hidden and stigmatized rather than accept that we live in a world that has nothing to do with our immediate past. This is something I wrote in your CV when I sent to the web page. And
Okay.
yes, because I want to explain in only in a few sentences exactly what is the real topic of your job. And I write something more and say, uh, it's so sad that there are topics that anyone wants to talk about, at least out loud. And abortion and or the right of a woman to decide to have an abortion is one of these topics. And it's something I understand that you have some belief and you want to organize your life about this. But I don't really believe that you have the right to forbidden something, to put some line and say no, because I don't believe in that. You don't have this right. Sorry, this is not the war is not, unfortunately, 2 3 centuries ago or more, this is quite normal, but we live in the 21st century.
Yes.
And if if I respect your belief, you need to respect how I want to live, how I want to do things, how I want to be a mother or not, have a baby or not. If you
Yes.
don't like, I'm so sorry, but that's the thing. And you are very, I don't know how to describe, but you are very brave to do something like that, in a country where the women don't talk about this. No, the men. I don't know. I know that there are, even today, there are many men don't know what happened every month with a normal woman.
Yes, it's
Unfortunately,
unfortunately
yes.
you
You
have
know, and I
reason.
know. And when you live in a university school during 7 years with 200 guys, and many of these guys, because I don't have brothers and sisters, but many of my colleagues, the people when I live, have sister, and don't I don't know if they don't know or they don't want to know. But at the last, they they don't understand that one time per month
Hmm.
your character change, you are more tired, you
Yes.
are sometimes you need to go to the bed because the pain is so hard that it's difficult, and they don't understand or they don't want to understand. If they don't want to understand something so easy, because it's every woman have this between 12, 13 until maybe the 60,
Hmm.
understand that you have the right to finish your pregnancy is sci-fi. But the I don't want to have first, second, third question, because I think. But in that case, you told me the first time we talked that this was your final degree project,
Yes.
and the thing is, why you choose this topic? Because I suppose there are southern art topics more easy, more comfortable, and not so dangerous to show. Even I
You
know that
have
it's
totally
outside Spain.
reason.
I know that you do outside Spain, but nevertheless, even in France, and France is a different society if you compare with the Spanish society, and if you compare with the Finnish society, it's a totally different
Mm.
approach. But nevertheless, in every country, there are problems with this topic.
But I think the fact to study in Belgium and to have Belgian friends and French friends, international friends, to say like this, it helps to do Juntas en esto because when we have a conversation like what happened if I have not menstruation this month, maybe I will be or I will not be pregnant. I realized that in Spain we can talk more open mind from the subject like sexuality because I don't know we have normalized sexuality in Spain,
Mm.
but in Belgium and France, I realized that sexuality is a really how do you say
It's a close.
comprometido.
It's
Yes,
a close subject.
close
Subject is to
subject.
compare with how the people talk about their
Yes.
relation in Spain. It's true.
So when we started to talk about that, I feel uncomfortable. So I say that it's strange because here abortion laws, uh, they are well, no, I will say in another manner. Abortion is legal in Belgium before on Spain, like 20 years before Spain. So I say, how it's possible? It's a closed subject where you cannot to talk, and it's legal before in Spain. So I feel the contrast on the conversation, and I say to me, maybe the fact to a subject is legal, like abortion here. I don't know, maybe legality it's not the same to open mind in a
Mm.
country. I don't know if you understand me.
No,
Maybe.
this is true. I think that, well, I think that in my in my belief that is when someone write the law, in theory, this person, when you is when, for example, when the people that wrote the Spanish Constitution, now, because the political situation in Spain is much more radical than 10 years ago.
Yes.
There are too many people that use the the Spanish Constitution like a shield to fight against someone. But I don't believe that many of these people read all the Constitution. But when you read the Spanish Constitution, and I read, I think, almost every article, there are many things that the Constitution was wrote in between 1977 and 1978. And there are many articles that are from the 21st century, because someone understand and was the people involved was people with all the ideologies, not only progressives. There are people that the dictatorship regime die, in some way disappear, but these people stay in this system during 20, 25 years, and they wrote the Spanish Constitution too. But all the people involved in the Spanish Constitution understand that 20, 30, 40 years after, the world changed.
Exactly.
And sometimes I think this is the thing. Someone, the law that opened the possibility to abort in United States, I think it's from 1972, is the famous Roe versus Wade. The Supreme Court approved with a small margin. And I remember that Ross Gale, the judge that have a movie, it's one of the most amazing person in the history of the law in United States. Even she believed that someone need to rewrite this law because originally it was from the 70s, but in the 21st century things changed. But originally it was from the 70s, and there are many states that don't want to, but the when the Supreme Court of the United States decide is yes or not, and say yes that a woman have the right to abort in determinate case, they open one door, and now even the not the actual president, the before, he tried to close this door, but it's actually impossible. Why? Because it's impossible to stop the movement of the history of the humanity. And I think it's exactly the same. I don't know when in France was possible to abort. In Bel- Belgium is a curious country because I think they stay without government during almost 3 years, and
Yes.
anyone say anything, the the country continue to work. But this is true in this mentality. They don't talk too much, but they write law, and if someone want to use, they have the possibility. And I don't believe it's necessary to talk too much about many topics. I think it's more important is to know that your society offer possibilities to you.
Yes, but I think your society will offer it if you talk about. I think maybe, and
Yes,
if you normalize, if
the
so.
thing is maybe for our mentality, uh, in the Spanish society, the people need that someone say, for example, in the TV or in a newspaper, and explain something. And in other societies, for example, in the French society, the Finnish
Mhm.
society, people hear or read the news, but have more curiosity to ask, to find the information. Because I am journalist. Actually, I don't work in any media, but I spent the last 20 years working in a media. And you don't, even if you work inside a media, you do not have is the information you receive is true or not. I think it's good, especially now because you have internet. Try to find information not for one only sources, from 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes, yes, of course.
And this is something, I think this is something the Spanish society actually don't understand. It's more easy sit down and wait until someone come to you and say, you need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, are you sure that this is the right answer? Or go to some place. I think for that reason there are too many people that decide to leave Spain because they don't find the right answer or anyone want to say this answer. They move to another country and they understand that in this country, if you want to find answer, someone explain. And I think this is the difference. I agree with you that it's good that the society and the people that uh, rule the society time to time explain how the things work. But this is only one part. If you want to know something, you want to do something, you need to focus all your energy in try to find the right answer from yourself.
Yes,
Not there's something that in your job is really is hard, but it's true. There are many people that believe that the abortion is very easy. You go to some place, stay 15 minutes, and go out.
and it's really not like this.
No, it's not to go to buy some orange.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, for many people, and I think one very important and there something I need to explain to the people that stay now with us. You don't use too many texts inside your job, but
No, really no.
no. But for example, in one page that you use I show
Yes,
exactly like a
the
normal,
text.
exactly. Uh, you don't say too much, but you say exactly the thing. For example, when you decide to do this, it's much better if you have someone near to you because uh, I know that for me, because I am a man, it's impossible to understand how you feel, not after one abortion, when you are thinking about. I try to, that I know that is really impossible, but I understanding when someone read this page, if you have someone near to you, it's more easy.
Yes, not necessarily the person, the male part,
Hmm.
to say like this, but someone. It's a. I don't make a text because when I did it, I did the story like a lonely character
Hmm.
that don't talk to her problem, to her reality, to anyone, not her mother, not her, not boyfriend, but the person who make the baby, to say like this,
Yes, exactly.
not friends. So this is a very important part of the story. And when I started to draw, I wanted to write because normally I'm a comic reader.
Hmm.
So normally I read text on the comic book. So I wanted to do that because but it were really forced. It was not naturally
Hmm.
to write because it was a silent story. The character was a silent person and don't share his her feelings about that. So I thought maybe on this page it's not necessary text, and I did the next one, and maybe he has not necessary text too. So at the end, I really did two pages with a little bit of
A
text.
little bit, yes.
But the feeling of loneliness and the uncompression by the society and her mother, I wanted to do that only by silence on the book and on the live too.
And I think there are in every comic festival, even here in Finland. Even my Finnish is not really nice. I understand a few, but I attend. sometimes I believe too much comic festival in my life. They are always the same dilemma. That do you buy a comic with a good text, good screen writer, screenplay, and bad draw, or for you it's more important the image than the text?
Complicated.
No. This is the comic book, the graphic novel, the graphic sequence, whatever you want to call, name it, it's the same. If the images are not attractive, or I don't want to say good or bad, but they are not attractive, it's quite difficult that you stop and see and open and begin to read, because it's the text is too much. At last, is much more a book than a comic book. That's the thing. You need to. I know that it's quite difficult for many authors find the right balance between text and image. But I think that how you approach this topic, problem, whatever, I think it's the right approach, because even if you have someone near to you and stay with you in all the process, this is something you live alone. And when you go to some clinic or wherever and you return, you are alone, even if you have someone near to you. And you are alone in your mind and in your heart. And this is something probably never. Uh, there are one sentence maybe because I am a writer, I always write in many of my essays. It's impossible to run more fast than your ghost.
No.
That is you have two options. Try to spend your life running like hell, or try to understand your ghost and live with them, and in some way accept what is your reality. You are afraid for someone or whatever, but it's impossible, because ghost or spirit always run more fast than you. It's exactly the same. Even because I knew person that has an abortion 10, 15 years, and after all this time, they continue to remember the day. And even I remember to talk with some women, even she remember the smell of the room, and she remember almost everything. It's like when she finished, I only say, if you told me that was yesterday, I believe you. And it was 12 years.
Yes, but it's not like as you say, it's not an action you do and it's over. No, it's never over. It came with you the rest of your life, I imagine.
How difficult it is. In your story, there are two women. One in the 60s,
60,
50s,
yes,
yes,
60, 70, maybe.
yeah, and another from 21st century. And unfortunately, the situation is so similar. This is really sad. You see that not too many change things. In the beginning, the idea was to do this, or in the beginning the idea was only to draw one story, and in the middle you decide to confront the past with the present?
No, at first, it's the primary idea. It was two people, no, two girls on different age periods. So it was the first approach. But I I didn't know how to do it. And it was starting to think about the story that I say, maybe I could do the same process until the moment she takes a decision, to the moment she goes to the hospital, and maybe this parcours, no, this
The strip.
steps, yes, this trip could be the same and could be a parallel story. So this kind of thing came with the narration, with the moment of you started to draw, because it's my first book, so I really didn't was an organized girl who did the storyboard, and after I did the final art. No, I really was like that, and I say, maybe she will be on the bathroom and she will say, my body is different. I became to notice a pregnancy. So I say, why not the girl from 70s or 60s will, how to say, she can be on the same situation too. So much of the page are the comparison on a different age.
Between
It's like this.
the
But it
glasses.
came after Sauda
It's
in the
exactly this.
process.
Exactly. Uh, in your CV, would you like to uh, combine techniques and digital with paper, ink, whatever? And this is really nice. And you told me the first time we told that because this was your uh, final project, you try to do the best because you never believe that someone want to publish, and you try to. And if someone have the opportunity, the good thing with this is you don't need to. If you understand Spanish, much better because they are small text, but you don't need to understand any language because maybe you need to understand a few things because, for example, when the girl from the 50s, 60s left her home, there's someone seeing all the situation that is unfortunately quite typical in Spain because the people spend too much time see what do they are person until try to live their life.
Yes,
But
and
uh,
especially in the small town.
small towns and even in the big town. You live in Madrid, I live in Madrid, and at the last the situation unfortunately is always the same. The
Yes.
thing is, in cities like Madrid is so huge that sometimes the people have spent too much time running like hell around all the city. They don't have enough time they don't have time to spend in other things that in a small city the tempo is totally different, and even today the people spend much more time thinking about what this person do until they try to live their life. But
Yes.
nevertheless, it's true that you don't have not the same style. You try to experiment, you try to do different things, you try to show how how are your capacity to create things, to combine things, to change the scenario and different techniques and whatever. But how much time you spend to draw all this book?
Mm, it was a complete year process,
Oh,
so an scholarly year,
yes.
from September to May, maybe. And I really passed the three first months thinking what I wanted to explain and my subject and my topic. So it was 3 months thinking the idea, and after I think like a month uh, with the story and developing. Okay, it will be first part, the middle, and the final, and I maybe 5 months drawing. but not every day. And I don't know how to say.
No,
It was a scholarly project, so
you
it
need to
was.
do other things, not only draw the comic book. In that moment,
Yes,
you are not there. But you talk with someone, you try to find information, you have previous background, and for that reason you decide to choose this, or it's something you want to do because I don't know how to.
No, it's a bit personally, but with a version like that, I don't have a real near approach. Maybe yes, a friend of mine done this, and maybe if no, uh, aunque until no,
But that case,
but we are close friends, but there is not this confidence to talk about that. So it hurts when you realize she did that and you don't know because
exactly.
it's not
But in
so
that case, but it's, I think it's, sorry for interrupt, but
no, no problem.
it's good to when in some way this happened because anyone believe that the other person understand you,
Yes,
and I think
and it's really sad.
exactly it's really sad, and I think it's you in some way you show this in your job because the there are some page in your book that the character want to talk with someone, but at the last they don't want to talk with anyone because they don't. I know that you never know someone so well that, but it's so sad that in the 21st century, actually, there are topics that you need to think about. Because I understand you are a serial killer. Well, there's a different approach, I know, because it's against the law. But from the last 11 years in Spain, it's possible to abort because there are one law that in I think three different topics in three different approaches possible to have an abortion. I understand that before that the abortion was forbidden. Forbidden if you have not money. If you have money, the abortion was like every other things, especially during the dictatorship regime. But I need to understand that the dictatorship regime ended in 1975, and the law was from the I think the in the finish at last you put in
In
March
the 18th.
March 2010 organic law 2-2010 was when someone well in theory was the first step was in 1985 when there are something but they are not a real law. Some,
No, because it's only for rape and
exactly.
death
It's,
for the mother and things like that.
exactly. Was only three options, but not like in 2010. And if you take it between 1975 to 2010, there are not uh, a legal text that any woman have the possibility to use if this woman want to have an abortion. And this is the 21st century. Before that, the first step was in 1936, 1937 in the Second Republic, but was only during 1 year because after that the Civil War finished in 2000, in 1939, and in 1941 the dictatorship regime forbidding any uh, choice, any option, any relate with the possibility for a woman to have an abortion if different approaches. You have money and you are inside the dictatorship regime status, but outside is absolutely impossible, and there are the many women went to the jail from this reason. Women's nurse,
Yes.
some doctors too, because was the regime was so strict with this and with other things, but especially with this topic. And I think it's sad that if you have a friend that have
Mhm.
an abortion, don't tell to you. But
Yes. But it's
I think
this is one. Sorry.
no, I think this in some way was good for you because you show exactly how women feel about this when they
Mhm.
don't want to, or they don't she don't know how to talk to someone about this topic.
Yes. But this is one of the thing that make me do that. The other thing that I wanted to express, it was, as you say, on the village, small town, on 60s, during the regime dictatorial.
Dictatorship regimes,
Yes.
yes.
Um, as is normal, much of woman be pregnant. So if it was no, sorry, if it was an unintentional pregnancy, an unwanted pregnancy, what should she do? Um, and if you have not enough money to go to London or to do it, if you have not the possibility to do an abortion clandestine with the all the responsibility and the risk that it means, because there is not enough, how do you say, enough hygienic condition and
Yes,
the thing like that, you you are obligated, no, you are
yes, yeah, it's true.
you have
Yeah,
no choice.
exactly. The only way is
Yes.
to have this kid, and even if you don't have a husband or boyfriend or whatever, and you need to carry with this boy in a in a system when if you are a woman and you are married with someone, you don't have the possibility to open a bank account for
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You need to go to the bank with your husband and your husband agree to open a bank account. This is something
Yes.
that sounds crazy from the 21st century, and especially in a country like Finland. A country like Finland or France or Belgium or in
Mm-hmm.
Holland or wherever. And there are, you put another topic in over the table that especially during the 60s and the 70s, uh, not all, but many of the trip between Madrid to London, the person inside are girls with their mothers, grandmothers, aunts, nannies, whatever, go to London to have an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, in that moment, I don't know. I try to find how much costs a, a ticket to Madrid to London in the 70s, and probably was so expensive. I know how much cost, how expensive, because I bought in Gran Canaria, how much costs a trip between Gran Canaria and Madrid. Not for someone like me, because I bought in Gran Canaria and I have
Mm-hmm.
some discount.
Yes.
It's more cheaper for me than from you, but I think there are any discount between Madrid to London. And if someone want to travel to Gran Canaria in the 60s and in the 70s, was so expensive because there are only one in Spain. There are
Mm-hmm.
only one air company, and they don't. This company put the price, and anyone say anything. And it's normally there are other companies that begin to travel between Madrid to London, but especially people use the Spanish air company, and the prices are so huge. If you compare
Mm-hmm.
with the I remember, for example, not in the 70s, in the 80s, the more cheaper travel between Gran Canaria to Madrid, if you translate euros, is around 150 euros.
Oh.
But 150 euros from the 80s. It's like, if you compare, it was almost 40 years ago. If you translate how much costs this trip today, maybe it's around 1,000 euros or more.
Yes, yes, really
Between,
not for everybody.
exactly, between to Gran Canaria and for us was more cheaper, and we need to pay exactly 125 euros. From someone from Madrid, Cáceres, or wherever, probably you need to pay double, minimum the double. You need to pay 250 euros 40 years ago. Is now you need to pay from the same trip maybe 1,500 euros. But I suppose the trip between London to Madrid cost something similar, maybe in that moment between 100, 120, 150 euros. But the thing is, in Spain, in that moment, in the 60s, a normal salary, even a good salary, was around, I put the comparison between the Spanish currency and the euros. A normal salary in Spain in the 60s and in the 70s is around uh, 18 to 24 euros. To compare how much, the difference between the currency in Spain was the pesetas and now it's euros. But 40 years ago, 50 years ago, it's all about the 60s, a normal salary was between to 18 to 24 euros. Imagine one trip that costs 150 euros. Only the trip, and plus the taxi between Heathrow to London, because this air company travel to Heathrow, the main airport in United Kingdom, and the hotel and the private hospital. When you, how much costs an abortion in that case? Maybe if you translate to euros, maybe 600, 700 euros. It's a normal salary in Spain in that moment is around 18 to 24 euros. And this is a good salary. Imagine how many people have this capacity to spend 600, 700 euros in one abortion.
It's impossible. Well,
Exactly.
impossible for normal people, medium
So
class.
the normal, one normal person in Spain, not you put the right example in small places, much worse. But it's all about big cities like Madrid, Barcelona, wherever. In a small city or a small town in the middle of nowhere, that there are many of these. Between, for example, between Madrid to Sevilla, there are small towns, a small city with 2 streets and four houses, no more. In that place, imagine even to take a bus to go to Madrid is so expensive. And go to a big city in that moment is more complicated. And if you don't have husband, boyfriend that help to you, how how one woman have any option to move to do something like this? The only choice is to stay with the kids and everyone, because it's horrible, because if you decide to have an abortion, everyone look at you and sign to you and say you are horrible. But if you have a kid and you don't have a husband, it's horrible too.
Yes,
It's
and I wanted to show that on the book, because if you are not married and you don't have a husband, it will be the shame on the family, and the character prefers her choice is to not be the shame to her family. So for she, it's better to move from the village, even the complicated from the salary and the loneliness of the big city, but it's easier than say her family, I'm I'm pregnant and I'm not married with that man. It's only for a few nights that we spend together, because I think it's a problem from the small town a lot, but the problem came because the religion normally. So in my family, it was a really, really near case from a girl who preferred to leave the town because of religion. It was the shame.
So it's so oppressive. It's very difficult to, especially for a woman, because at the last now, fortunately, the situation changed. Not too much, but the situation changed. But between the Civil War finish until the 90s, the men have the choice to do whatever they want, and anyone say anything. I think it's a problem with the religion, with the belief of everyone. I think that it's the problem not with the religion per se. It's how the official institution articulate all his approach. That I think this is the main problem, because
Yes.
I interacted. I met with people that they really had faith, but it's easy to talk with them because they try to understand you. The problem is with someone have only one idea, only one belief, believing, and they don't want to share anything. They don't want to change anything. They don't want to understand you. And and for me, because I am a man, I really understand this part. The second part is the education. They are a big difference because how someone teach you and how someone teach me. You stay with someone one night, one evening, 2 days, whatever. You up, disappear, nothing happened. I don't care what happened with this girl. It's not my responsibility. And this is really sad. And I think this is a real problem, even today, because before the Civil War, the problem is exactly the same. But after the Civil War, during 36 years, and between 1975 to the beginning, even the beginning of the 21st century, there are around 4 or 5 generations of men that their education is totally different. There are some exceptions. There are parents that teach horrible to their boys. My parent was this type of parents.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's true, because they teach me in a different way.
Why not? Okay. I understand the opposite.
Exactly. No. My parents, especially my father, teach me that if you stay with someone, it's your responsibility if
Okay.
something happen. You don't run. If you stay with someone, you need to understand that it's her responsibility and your responsibility. But I told before, I spent 7 years in a university school with 200, uh, I don't want to say friends, but college. I live in the same place with another 200 boys. And after 2 years in the same place, I understand that many of my colleagues have no idea what to do in the real world. They live in a wonderful and imaginary and naive world. They believe that because they are boys, for example, they don't do anything inside their rooms because there are someone that come to, and sorry, there are from every 20 room, there are one girl that clean the room, but they clean, no organize your room. They change a few things, but they don't spend 2 hours in your room because you don't want to put anything in the right place. And this is only a small example, but it's one I really understand that my education is in, and at the last you spend time with people like you but because I spent 7 years inside this place, and I spend a lot of time because I live in far away to my home, and I don't have the possibility to move like someone live in Peninsula. I need to take a plane. It's more complicated, more expensive. I spend a lot of time in this place. Is when I understand that there are many people, there are many boys, actually men, have any education. They are boys, they live like Tarzan in the jungle. But the
Yes,
thing is,
I hope it will change. And I think on my generation, I think it's changing.
I know it's
But as you say, there is too many boys actually that live on his reality that I can do anything, and after I can just clean my hands and
and I
life.
don't want to accept any responsibility.
Yes.
And if someone say me something, and this part is good or not, because sometimes you find with someone and say, "Hey, don't cross this line because you are freedom. Finish when in front of my freedom." I think that the more horrible things is that is this boy, because for me are not men, are boys, even teenagers, uh, have problem like this. They have no idea what to do, and these things is, I told you before, think about to have an abortion is horrible. But when you decide and say I want to do, if you don't find anyone, or less or worse, you stay with someone that don't want to know, don't want to learn, and don't want to accept anything. And this is, uh, I told you the first time I told with you. I say to you through email and when we met the first time. I really believe that any boy between 13 to 18 years old need to read your job. And not only that, need to read, and someone need to say, try to understand what happened with these women. Because
Yes.
one day, even if you have much more education, even if you try to keep the things in the best way possible and you accept you have sexual relation with someone, and sometimes even you take all the precaution, uh, things don't work in the how you want. You need to know what happened. What is the next step? Is your
Yes, yes.
if your girlfriend come to you and say, I am pregnant. What one? And I don't say. It's not necessary to say I want to do something. I am pregnant. I know that the first time I know because I am a father, and I know the first step is not. I am not afraid, but say wow, because it's a big responsibility. But you need to know what to do. You need to understand that if someone put in front of you
Yes.
these things, forget the abortion, even the facts, your girlfriend is pregnant. You need to know what to do, or you need to do that. You need to stay near to your girlfriend, your partner, try to help in every way possible. And the next step is maybe your girlfriend decide not to have this kid. And this is something that Juntas and Esto put over the table. Say, hey, imagine you are the boyfriend, the husband of this girl, and the girl decide not to have the kid. What do you think about that? I think this is the more wonderful and the most dangerous things of your job that put this over the table.
Yes, because I think we can do a lot of interpretation. You say her boyfriend, but on my mind, it was just a guy and that she was with him a night, but it was not an important person or her life. only the guy who did the baby, talking like that. So
Yeah.
there is not really a feeling that we are a couple and it's a decision of a couple. No, it's just the decision of the girl, because maybe she's pregnant. 2 months later, saw him the last time. So she said, I will text him, but we are nothing, just people that sleep together one day. And I wanted how do you say? I wanted to remark this, but after I say, no, maybe it's better to leave the free interpretation. He can be a boyfriend, he can be nobody. So, but yes, it's hard because I didn't want it to criminalize all the boys, because however, there is boys who take care of the girl, not only her girlfriend, but the girl. There is a moral responsibility. If you spend time with someone, after there is a responsibility, and I don't know how to say. Yeah, you
You
can
need to
have
accept
fun
you have responsibility, and you need to
to stay there.
exactly. You need to show to the other person that you accept this responsibility and you try to help in
Mhm.
every way possible. Sometimes I know that even if your girlfriend, your partner, you spend a lot of time with this person. I understand that it's difficult. Is this person told to you and say, I decide to do this because it's a big decision, it's a big responsibility, and you need to understand that it's not, I told in the beginning of this meeting, is not to go to buy some orange. It's something that probably if you stay much more time with this person, time to time this person wake up or during the night begin to cry or have nightmare or whatever, because a really a really big step.
Yes.
And I know that I believe that the new generation changed because the difference between the older generation and the new generation is the women have not any, only a few women have the possibility to be independent to their families, to their friends, and the society. Now, women have the capacity to go to the university, have the capacity to find a good job, and have the capacity to live their life. And sometimes, if you want to stay with someone, you need to change your mentality because it's not now. And for example, there are many women in Spain. Here is quite common, but now there are more women in Spain that they decide to have kids without anyone because they want to have kids, no kids and husband or boyfriend. And
Yes.
now here is another choice. You want to have a baby, well, and the social security system help to you in every way possible. In Spain, there are some communities that help, other communities are not agree, especially with these ideas. But now the women have choice, have possibilities. And I know, because I know people that I meet with people 25 years ago, their mentalities are A, and now their mentalities are B. Because if they want to stay or really love someone, you need to change and understand that maybe you have your belief, you have your education, but if you want to stay with someone, you need to understand the other person and you need to change. You need to have the capacity to evolve. It's not it's a stay always in the same time, in the same moment. And I told you, the thing is, we live in a world that has nothing to do with the past. The past was gone long time ago. Spain is not the same place like in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and in the beginning of the 21st century. Now it's a place with right, with good and not so good people, with good and bad decision. But now the situation for your generation, and I even believe from the generation before you, because now you have the choice to go out, study outside, new
Yes.
new new societies, different point of view. That now is like I told you, you have the opportunity not only to do this in the school, someone understand that this is important to show to the new generation, and for that reason I told with you because you are a good example that there are things there are things that change in Spain, because if someone like your editorial, I told with your editor to decide that this is a good topic to show, is and you not only publish because like the comic book artist like this the screenplay or like the draw, you publish something because you believe that someone want to buy. An editorial is not an ONG. No, no, it's business,
Yes.
and you need to sell comic if you want to continue to sell comic. And I think is for this event, I need to check all the Spanish editorial to try to find new artists and people that do things like you. And it's really nice that there are many smaller, medium, and bigger editorial in Spain that decide to publish things like this, because it's when you understand that there are a small thing that actually change or are changing in the Spanish society. And it's single uh, between 15 to, I don't know, 15 to 20 to 30, for example, have the same problem and have the opportunity to read Juntas en esto. I really believe that for her is some kind of guide to understand why she think and feel about this, because I told you for me is I try to understand the best way possible, but I am a man. I know that some problems is impossible. I don't have the capacity to feel in the same way. But I imagine from some girl with imagine 16, 17 years old that are pregnant and they are thinking about to have an abortion. There are one moment that is really, I don't know how to describe, but it's so. This is when they stay in front of the hospital, because this is the last step. When you go into, when you have the opportunity to decide not to, but normally when you go to this point,
Yes.
is there is a point without return, and you don't need to. And I really like because you use the, I think almost the black and white from the older character and use some
Yes.
color from the new, but at the last the feeling is exactly the same. Is wow. I don't my thought about this is I don't even want to imagine how difficult it's been to do this, to go to some place and do something that there are many people believe that is the same like to kill someone, because they believe
Yes.
that you kill someone. They don't think about that there are I don't know how many kids are inside the system in Spain without parents. But when I read that in United States, approximately there are 700,000 kids without parents in South foster home, was this is it's almost 1 million of kids without parents living in, sometimes in, there are really good foster parents, But there are many that only have kids because the government pay from this kid, and they
Mhm.
don't care about anything. And it's so horrible to imagine. I don't know how many. I have a friend that she worked in a house where this there was a religious house. Her aunt was a nun, and I don't know why because she was a journalist in that moment, but she has a close relation with his aunt, and she decided to help her in this house when among especially small kids spend period of time without any parents or waiting until their parents return to pick up. And she told me things that say, I sometimes I told her, what do you do this? Because if I stay in that home, I want to take all the kids and put and take to my home. Even my home
Yes.
at that moment was a small home for you. So I live alone, and I have 2 room and a half because one room is a big room and the other is a big room divided in two parts. Even if my home is smaller, I always say the same. If I have the choice, I take all these kids to my home.
Mhm.
And people don't think about. People think, no, no, no. You go to some place and you have an abortion, you kill someone, and say, well, yes, I killed someone, something. But you don't believe that it's so horrible too. There are thousands of kids in home, in some type of home or foster home or wherever, without any real parents. For me, this
Yes.
is horrible. It's the worst case scenario from any
Mm.
kid. Stay in a not
And I
the
think, oh, sorry.
sorry, not this home that you see in the movies. A normal home with a normal person, but these person are not your parents.
I think at the end it will be your parents because he will love you as your parent love you. But I think for the mother, the real mother, the no biologic mother,
Yes.
it's harder to her give a baby who lives, to take a baby, a real baby who has born a few days ago, and to left him on a um,
Inside the
uh,
system,
yes,
yes.
inside this system, because it will be more traumatic that stops with the pregnancy when she has never seen the baby and when the baby is like a really it's
Nothing.
nothing, it's really nothing.
True
So
to
people
sentiment
who
or something
think it's
like that.
better that I think you I don't understand that people who are pro-life because they are not just pro-life, they want just to don't kill the baby, but after when the baby is born, the same as after clean their hands,
Yes.
and they didn't give money to the baby, they didn't give opportunities, a good house, nothing, just they salva, they save a life,
Yes. But
but they condemn this life to
exactly. That is the right
so.
word. They save this life, but when the baby is upside, they forget
Mhm.
and they believe that the system is uh, the best parent from this kid, and
Yes,
unfortunately, the system
and
try to do.
when
They are a really good person that try to do the best, but unfortunately, no. Uh, do you receive any feedback? You told when the books was in the market
mhm.
in 2010, yes, in February 2010, 1 year and a half ago, approximately. After that, your editor, your editorial receive some feedback. Someone sent to you an email, or someone sent an email to your editor or to the editorial to talk about this book, or or someone near to you told to you about your job, or anyone say anything?
No. I thought I was afraid because I think there would be pro-life people that will say it's really, I don't know how to say, offensive, your book.
Yes.
It's like a
Diabolic inside.
brain, yes, brain conspiration for the
Yes.
future generation and like this. But I really didn't have any negative commentary. I have only one commentary that I say, yes, you have reason. There was a man who lived this situation, but he support her girlfriend. So he said it's a bit sad that you criminalize all the men. But I wanted to say, yes, but maybe you were a bit the exception.
Yes, unfortunately.
So I understand him, but yes.
No,
mm,
and I think, sorry to interrupt, I think that if you criminalize someone, you criminalize the society, no the man.
yes, yes.
I think
Uh,
and it's true. Unfortunately, this person is the exception. In
mhm,
the Actually, in the 21st century, is this guy make this in the 20th century? He was a hero because probably he has problem with his family, with the families of his girlfriend, and with his friend, because uh, the Spanish society have one bad habit is signed, try to say to you what is good and what is bad,
yes.
and they forget the person. They only try to keep the tradition in the best way possible,
Mhm,
and they believe in, and all these wonderful things. It's like the flags. I remember a journalist from my hometown. He said that he only liked the flags in the Olympic Games, because outside the Olympic Games is his point of view. The outside the Olympic game, the flags only held to kill people and send to the grave.
mhm,
And unfortunately, it's true. And this is exactly the same. In that case, your answer for me is the right answer, because this person is amazing that they are, and I'm very proud of my sex that they are being that thing in that way. But normally, they don't
yes.
do anything. They don't want to, because they don't want that someone look at him and say, "Hey, you are a killer, or you hell to do something
Mhm,
bad, or you are against the my feelings or my believing, or against the society." Unfortunately, I know that from the Finnish people, especially from the new generation, but even from the older generation, all these things sounds like a movie, a
I
screenplay
understand.
from a movie. But sorry, but this is true.
Mhm,
And even in my particular case, I live in an island with where many of the topic that in Peninsula are not forbidden, but the
taboo.
people, yes, the taboo. No, people don't talk about this
Mhm,
in Gran Canaria, or especially in my hometown, is when I live all my life until I decide to left. A topic that when I arrive in Madrid, people don't talk about. We talk without any problem. And I don't say that the mentality of the Canary Island is more open than in Peninsula, but it's true that because there are more people from outside, that, for example, in Peninsula during the dictatorship regime, uh,
mhm,
this situation helped to the people from Canary Island, to understand how people from Finland, how people from Sweden, how people from France, from United Kingdom, from Germany think about. And this is, I am very happy that I born and live in the place I born, because I believe I live in Finland because for me the Nordic people, not only the Finnish guys, are quite common all my life. I have two kids in my class when I was a boy that are from their mother from Norway, and I begin to understand many things, and I have good relation with one of them, and I come to his home, and I talk with his mother, and his mother explained me many things about uh, a Nordic country. Last I finished to live in another country because in some way I understand much better how the things work here. But unfortunately, in this type of topic, people don't want to. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know what the people are so afraid because I after talk with you, I begin to try to find articles, and there are a really good text in this in your book. The author is
Elizabeth Casillas.
exactly.
Yes.
It's your book. You are the author.
No, but the author of the text.
No, but you know the how are inside your book.
Yes.
And it's only 2 pages, but it's really nice how she explained how what resources she used and how she tried to explain what happened with the abortion, what women have abortion, rich, poor, uh, people with Catholic belief, and people without any believe it, people with study, people without any, married women, single women, younger women, older women, with husband and boyfriend alone, with children and without, women that work inside, outside their home, women that work inside, Spanish women, women from Finland, from France, from wherever. Uh, every women have the same feeling, and in my point of view, every women need to have the right to do whatever they want, whatever they want to do. If you don't, if the society believes that it's not good, well, the society have something, but they explain many things. They talk about books that fortunately I read, that normally many of men, especially Simone de Beauvoir, is not it's not an author from many voice, but I really like the articles, and especially the books from Simone de Beauvoir, and another books that I really like. And she explained a few things and tried to explain in a only in only 2 pages, uh, how the things were in our country. And it's really, and I think it's the perfect finish from your job is when someone understand the background, and in some way why do you do these things. I know that when you finish the book 1 year and a half ago, something like that.
Yes.
It's not like, because I told with our author that tell me, no, I last month someone called me to talk about something I did 10 years ago, when I begin to read and say, my God, I did this. I don't want to believe that I did this.
Yes.
I don't want to see any more in my life. But you, if for example, you are in front of an real audience, because you see, and you have a screen behind you, and someone showing the screen all the page of your book. What do you think actually now, because the book's in the market and you have feedback and whatever? What do you think actually about your job, about this book? You are proud or you change a lot, and you don't like your style. You believe that some you want to change, because an author tell me, if I have the opportunity, I want to change, for example, 42 pages, and I told him, hey, your album is 48. If you change 42, you change almost everything. What do you change? You don't change the title, and you don't change something. But if you change 42 pages for 48, you change every album, all the
Yes,
album. But in your
I
case, you want to
understand.
change everything, or you are proud with it?
No, I think I'm really proud because I'm not like a consolidated author that works doing comic book. So he do a comic book, and after he sing with an editorial and he publish and all time like that. No, I did it just sporadic, like a thing I did on my life. But the fact is, I never imagined it will be accessible to everybody who want
Everyone,
to
yes.
find it. Maybe a Finland person can buy it from a snack or Amazon. Maybe I prefer the small library, of course, but
Yes, yes,
it's
but
it's crazy to think it can be on a few days, mm, um, wherever.
mhm.
So yes, I only wanted to change a page. Is this one because I will find it. This I
Yes,
so the question is the girl go out from
yes.
the boy house,
Mhm,
and there is a old people from the village
mhm.
who see her going out, and I did it in Belgium. So on the first idea, I did a woman, an old woman, who looked into her house and who looked onto from the like this from a
Yes,
curtain, like oh my god, she's going out, and I did this woman from the curtain. So the teachers, because I have feedback from the teachers if I want it. So every week, once for each week, I show my work, and everybody in Belgium, my friends, the teacher, and everybody told me, "Who is this? Who is this person? It's an important character. It's her grandma. It's her. Who is she?" And I wanted to play with the archetype from the old person on the village who will say everything that she sees, because I don't know how to say in English, el que dirán.
yes. It's this kind
Mm,
of person that try to see everything,
mhm.
try to share everything, and at the last, in this type of society, they are the right sentence is what they believe about this. They want to share things because they want to know the opinion of our
Mhm.
person, and
Yes,
this is
and this
so.
person is not important to the story, but is her essence, is her the archetype of this kind of person that it is so important, uh, who make you be afraid to not be seen, because after she will be a gossip with her friends, or maybe when the old person will go to the market, she will be like I saw this girl going out from her house, and after it's a mouth to mouth. I don't know how to say. It's
Yes,
like
exactly. They begin
a
to talk.
camarade.
It's
Yes.
we begin to share with some, and the problem is
Yes.
not. I think it's something that the people need to understand. These things happen in every place,
Mm-hmm.
but during many years, decades, not only years, in a country like Spain, the problem is not only there are always someone in the window or
Mm-hmm.
in the door or in the market or in the street try to see everything. The problem is this person begin to share, and the story is one in the beginning, but after 20 people,
It's like it's
yes, it's a totally different
Mm-hmm.
story. In the beginning, this girl stay one night with some guy, and at the first step was at 9 o'clock in the morning, and at 9 o'clock in the night, this girl spent 6 weeks with 6 different guys, and
Yes.
it's it's something crazy, and it's impossible to have any control with this, even from the original source. I don't know if this person, if she heard her story at the end, she recognized anything, because probably everything changed in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a real problem for the Spanish society during many decades. And this is for example, one the reason that especially in the 60s, but the 50s and the 60s, from the last century, in the 20th century, many people moved to a small town, to Madrid. Madrid is a big city, but it's so, they are, Madrid have not a real organization. They have Madrid have a few big streets, but behind the big street, behind the Gran Via, because I know,
Mm-hmm.
because I spent 9 years of my life lived in Madrid, behind to the one of the main street of Madrid, the Gran Via, the street near to Gran Via are a real chaos.
Yes. Yes.
They don't understand the they understand that the line is something like this. They don't understand that perfect line is something A to B, and
Mm-hmm.
no, A is A to two and B. And what is B? Because I moved too much. And this is in the center of the city. Suppose it's the most organized and more nicer place. If you move to one side of Madrid, it's impossible to understand how the things work. But even because the people arrive and try to find a place where they live and begin to build a home in wherever, and the city begin to grow, and in some moment the city eat this street, this part of the city, but they don't change anything. Now there are more buses, metros, things like that, but the organization is exactly the same in many ways, like 30
Yes.
years. Now it's true that in all this year, between the 50s to this 21st century, the institution try to change, try to renovate, but nevertheless, Madrid is a huge city. We have, I think, 6 million of people, 5 or 6 million of people, more people than Finland. And without a real organization, because in the beginning they don't have real organization, because the 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 kings live outside Madrid,
Mm-hmm.
and the real palace was outside Madrid, and only the poor people live in actual Madrid, and for that reason, the organization was a real chaos. And when the situation changed, but even in this condition, even that in the 50s and the 60s, Madrid was a huge city with a lot of problems. Many people decide to move to a small town, to Madrid, because in some way in Madrid they don't have this older woman in the window
Yes.
scene.
It's they have private life.
Yes, exactly.
But
And
now
some
this
some freedom. In some way, they have some
hmm,
freedom. Even in the dictatorship regime, they are not freedom. This concept is
hmm,
not
it's like
real. But exactly, they have some life. They want to go out and not. At last, they are the same problem, because this topic is unfortunately quite common in the Spanish,
yes.
the Italian and the Spanish mentality.
And I think
But
the social media too. So
exactly,
you can leave your town, small town, but after if you will share this on the social media, after you will find a person who say that you share that. So this all the all
our habit,
woman who
uh,
yes.
this all habit don't disappear from,
Mhm.
because we live in the 20th century. But in a big city, it's more easy to disappear. It's more easy to be a chameleon, and because there are a lot of people and everything is in Madrid, everything is far away.
Yes.
That is the bad things and the good things, and because everything is far away, you spend a lot of time inside a bus, inside a car, inside a metro, inside a train, and in one moment you understand that it's not possible to spend the rest of your life thinking about what your neighbor do. You try, because the old habits are difficult to forget and to leave, but it's more difficult than in a small town with 100,000 people, with
Yes.
three main street, and you you know you know. I think there are many people in Madrid have no idea what is the neighbor they have in front of, because they don't have time.
Yes.
And I know, because you live in Madrid and I live in Madrid. I lived in Madrid too. In a small town, and in one moment you know everyone, because it's your family live born and live in. They know the grandparents, parents,
Yes.
that last, everyone know everyone. In Madrid, it's the same in some place, but every day someone new arrive. Every day there are some change. Every day there are something different, and for that reason, it's no more easy. But today, and especially tomorrow, yesterday, you find this freedom, and you don't need to open the door and see anyone sing. No, no, you open the door and go out. And if someone want to say something, why not? Because after me, probably go out another three person with exactly the same feeling. And
Yes.
no, that is the thing. Uh, Now you are working like, and you send me your CV, like a freelance illustrator and graphic design in Madrid. Wow.
Yes.
And this is really open up to the new fronts such as screen printing, mural painting, and animation. Wow.
Yes, I'm, how do you say, I'm a person that like a lot of things, and maybe sometimes I'm really optimistic and I say I can afford this. The last project with a real client was doing all the illustration from her website, and I said yes, of course, it's really nice to me. And she said, we will really glad if you do a mural painting. So I said I didn't do that before, but why not? So I'm honest. So I told them maybe it's the horrible mural painting. If it's how do you say? If it's error, a mistake,
It's a mistake.
you can we can see what will we do. But I have the I was lucky because there were optimistic people too. So they told me, yes, you can try. And after that, I was really happy to do a mural. So when I did my biography, I said, why not now? I can be a mural painter
No, no,
if
no. And
you.
no,
So
no, it's true
it's a bit
because
like
it's,
that. And animation, I did some projects animated. I think now I know I must to learn a lot of from animation, but the la semilla, the
it's the
the first step is
yes, the
done.
first step.
Is
Yes,
the to be interesting in something is the first step. So
you have
animation
curiosity and you want
is
to experimenting with different. And I think this is the. I think every creator, every author. I know that sometimes you say, why I say yes to this? Because
yes.
I think it's you don't have this thought, you are not a real creator, because someone says something to you and you begin to think and say, yeah, yes, it's possible. And when you say yes, and in one moment during the process say, I am really crazy and I don't know what to do. I don't know what this feeling. I just stay in the middle of something and say, why I am here? Because
Yes,
even if
but
the
it's
but
too late to regret,
yes,
to
that's
say,
the thing. You don't
no,
have the
in fact,
opportunity.
I'm not a mural artist. No, you can continue.
No, but it
You
is.
should continue.
I think the I think you learn during this trip is how I think is how one person, in that case, one person that decide to create things, is how you learn. It's the only way. And it's when in some moment you decide to say no, because you say, no, I did one time, two times in my life, but no, this is not for me.
Hmm.
It's not, you always have this something in your mind, and every every time someone says something related with this, you always thought, probably I need to say yes 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 2 months ago. But I know that this is the problem with the people that decide not to do the right things or the normal things. You always stay in the middle of the thing you like, the thing you need to do, and the thing
Yes.
you even need to think, but try to find balance between this is quite difficult. And I believe, and I really believe, and even I use some tools that are more not more easy to use, but you don't have the capacity. You don't have the ability to change a word. You have the capacity to put something around to sounds nice, but I don't have the capacity in theory to create a new word. And if
Hmm.
I create, it's only from me, but anyone say this is good. There are some rules, but in your case, that you have the capacity to use different techniques, color, black and white, even different paper to show your job, or to paint in a wall, or to paint in, I don't know, in a dress or whatever, is wonderful. But it's in some ways is why it's weird, because I have all the I have the capacity to do whatever I want, but I always have the same feeling. You and me have the same problem. You have a white page. You need to draw something. I need to write something. But the people don't understand this white page is something wonderful, but something sometimes so
Sure.
dangerous, because you don't
Yes.
know what to do. Because you see, and in that case, you have in front of you, and I have the capacity to have a physical paper or the screen, the paper in the screen of the computer. And sometimes, I don't know how you feel, but sometimes I feel when I sit down that the page look at you and smile and
Yes.
see and
And
look at you
he
and
loves.
say,
Yes.
aha, I am here. What do you want to do? And
Yes.
sometimes I look and say, I have no idea. I don't know what to do. I know that I need to do something with you, but I have no idea. And this is sometimes it's a really disturbing thought. But
It's disturbing, but after when you pass a few time drawing or writing or I don't know, and maybe you go to sleep and the next day when you see what you did, you are, I don't know how to say, you think it's me who have done that. When I
yeah,
see my book, I say how this idea came to me, why I did the two girls on the hospital. I don't know how to say. Maybe if now I did the same book, it will be really different. All the cases will be different. The colors maybe. So it's it's a bit magic too because this white page uh, will be never the same if it's with you one day or if this one page is with you 10 years later.
no, it's true. And I think this is this is the life you and me choose, and we need to understand this. We need to fight, fight, identify in some way with this feeling. Sometimes I say in our meetings, one real author has regular bad and horrible days. You only have good days time to time, and normally only a few good days in a year or in a couple of years. You need to understand that you have limitation. You need to understand that there are not two days equal. But at last, it's true. Sometimes you do something, you go to the bed, and when you wake up and see and read and say, well, it's not so bad, or
Yes.
I really enjoy, or I am surprised that this sounds and look that sounds and look. And I think this is when you accept this is when you understand that you are an author and you want to spend your life create things like a concept artist, like a mural painting, yeah, like animator, like illustrator, or like comic book artist. The thing, the what format do you use is not important. Is why want why do you want to do this, and why do you want to show? If you use one format, one support or another, it's the same as you use piece
Yes.
of paper or a wall. At last you want to show something, you want to tell some a story with image, like I want to tell some story with word. And when we finish, we put in front of someone, you never know what the people think about. And sometimes you receive feedback or not, but I think this is our life, and in some way I am no, I don't want to say I'm very happy, but and I don't know if I choose this life or this life choose us. Probably I never know,
Yes.
but I I invite to the Finnish people, especially with this book, that there are only a few texts, and we don't need to. Even if you don't understand Spanish, you don't need to.
It's really not
Just
necessary to understand Spanish to read that.
Spanish or Finnish, so it's the same that this book is from a Spanish author, Finnish author, French author, or Japanese author. If you don't understand the message, at last you see the face of the character, and you see what happened between all these things, and you understand what this person feel. And I think this is for me. Sorry.
Bless you.
Sorry. For me,
Okay.
this is the best. I have no any problem with the pandemic. I have the two vaccines. For me, this is the best advertise from your job. If someone want to see what happened with a woman decide to have an abortion, please read this, because it's hard. It's sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes you see one page and you need to spend time to understand what is front of your eyes. But at the last, it's not difficult to, especially this, with you see it, for example, this, you understand. It's not difficult to, I think for me, it's not difficult to sit down near to, and don't say anything. Sometimes sometimes people don't need anyone near to them to say wonderful things. Sometimes they only need someone near to and stay, because and this person look at you and say you are with me, and this is enough. You don't need to write a good screenplay to stay with someone. You only need to stay with this person because you really want to stay. And I think this is something you really understand and you really miss. And I understand the guy that sent to you a feedback and say, hey, not every man are the enemy. and I agree with him, but I say sorry, but there are too many that unfortunately they are
Yes.
the enemy. Uh, I think you explained very well. If someone want to do something like you, what is necessary, because you explain that you spend time, you focus, you try to, even you have not a real organization, at the last you continue to until you finish. But the last question is always the same. If you want to say something, if you want to say, imagine that in front of someone, a real audience, because now this is in front of some real audience, but now you look at me and I look at you, and
Yes.
we don't see anyone in front of us. How do you sell your job to someone? Because I am author too, I always have the same feeling. When I finish some book and my editor told me this book will be cost something, I always say the same. Hey, someone want to spend not only time, someone want to spend time and money in my job. And unfortunately, you never know if you do the best. You believe that you do the best, but you never know until you put in front of someone. And you told before, people have different approach, different opinion about your job. But now imagine that you are here in Finland and you want to sell your job. What do you say to someone that think about to buy Juntas and esto, but it's not, this person is not, they don't know it's a good idea or bad idea. What do you believe is a good idea to read your book?
Because it's a really small book, and
Yes,
lot of people will love a lot when I say read my book, because they say but there is no text, you cannot read. But I say it's a really good exercise to read an image, and to do an effort. No,
yes, it's an effort, and
yes, to
you need
do
to
an
put.
effort of a comprehension, and to, how do you say, I give you a bit of story. I give you the first, I don't know how to say. I give you that, and
Yes,
after you will take all the rest.
yes, you
I
need to write, exactly. You need to write in some way. It's true. You need to write some text in your book, and you need
Yes,
to.
but I wanted to say that it's a story that I I it's my story that I wrote, but it can be your story that you understand. So it's our story, and I think this book will have too many different comprehensions.
Yeah, an interpretation. Yes, not
So
everyone have the same approach, but at the
yes,
last,
interpretation.
yes, but at the last is always the same. Women have the same right that a man, even if the man don't like,
Mhm.
and anyone
Yes.
in any place have the right to forbidden something because you don't like or you don't really understand. I think this is
Mhm.
the I think this is it's a good legacy. I don't know if you make more comic book, but this is a good example that to be a honest and sincere uh, graphic history. Really, really nice.
Thank you.
Uh, I hope that people enjoy like I enjoy. Um, I hope that people, because in your biography in the web page, I put the information what is possible to see the things you put in your social media, and I invite to the Finnish not only the people that draw and read comic in Finland, the people that really like stories, that check what is possible to find this story, this book. Actually, here in Finland, there are a big library that is possible order books from wherever, not only from Finland. It's possible to order books from France, from United Kingdom, from United States, and from Spain. And please go to in the web page. You will find all the information about the editorial that published this book in Spain. And I invite that you see in the web page and order, because you don't need to learn, you don't need to know Spanish. Even there are many people that actually here in Finland understand our language, study Spanish, and try to understand not only our language, try to understand even our society. I think this is good to read from a Finnish boy and Finnish girl, like it's good to read from a Spanish boy, from a Spanish girl, from a French, from an Italian, or from German boys and girls, because you told in your CV, the person that wrote the last chapter of the book, and you told him during this meeting these things and the problem that are the same in every country. Unfortunately, there are topics that the people like to talk, but there are topics that even in the 21st century, the people prefer not to say anything. But if you don't say anything, the problem don't disappear. The problem is the same without anyone say something, but the problem is inside. It's like the elephant inside the room. The elephant is inside the room. If you don't want to see the elephant, it's your problem, but the elephant is in front of you. And this is exactly the same. If you believe that actually the women don't have an abortion, it's your problem, but there are many women every day that decide to finish.
And at the end, it's important to understand we are the same women in Spain and in Finland and in Oriental. Now where we are women and we have the same body, who have the same biological reaction, so we must to have all of us the same right. Whenever it's not important the religion or the geographic situation, we should have all the women the same rights, because it's our body.
That's the thing. This is a good approach to finish this meeting. Blanca, thank you very much. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Thank you for understand that this event is a good place to share your experience and your job. And I hope in a few years I have the opportunity to meet with you again and talk about another book you have the crazy idea to do and to draw and to write. I hope I enjoy in the same way I enjoy with Juntas and esto. And thank you from
thank you. And
thank you from the support from the Finnish Comic Society, the Spanish Embassy, the Cultural Foundation, and especially and the help to Gonzalo Santana is the person that helped in the technique way that all this meeting work and look in the same way possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself. Be safe. And we will see, I hope, soon. Bye-bye.
I hope it too. So I'm really grateful to the opportunity and to bring my job on England. It's really far away from Spain, so I really hope you like it.
I hope to.